You've heard the saying before, follow the money. From political corruption to consumer behavior, there's rarely a more reliable path. And following the money, we detected something unusual that could be our next big investment. Despite over 35 million people losing their jobs, some people are making more money from unemployment benefits than they did when they were working. Plus, the IRS has already sent out more than $200 billion of stimulus money that nobody was planning on. It just showed up in their bank account. And people have been cooped up with nothing to do. And school is about to be out for the summer, but summer camp is probably canceled, and you're probably getting sick of video games or board games or Netflixing or chilling. And overall, people are just getting restless. They're starting to venture back outside. The unconventional trend, people spending stimulus money on expensive outdoor toys. Today on Dumb Money Live, we share exactly what we've uncovered. This is Dumb Money Live with Chris Camillo, Dave Hansen, and Jordan McLean, streaming live on YouTube. We are Dumb Money. Hey there, Dave here along with Chris and Jordan. Welcome to the show. Before we start, take a second and we need you to hit that YouTube like button. Let the algorithm know that we are on the air. Let everyone know. Keep that chat going. We're going to be getting to all of your chats in just a little bit, but I'm excited about today. These are trade ideas that started coming together on Friday. We're talking about outdoor toys like jet skis, ATVs, even lawnmowers and larger farm equipment. But before we get into that, I have to tell you what we're going to talk about in the second half hour today. Two insane trades that we made on Friday. They were speculative in a pharma company and in the market as a whole. And I can tell you that I sold this morning for a gain of more than $250,000 on a single trade. Chris, how about you? How much did you end up making?
This is so embarrassing to even say it. I can't even believe it. I made $1 million over the weekend on this trade. And wow. Jordan, thank you, Jordan. This is all 1,000% because of that phone call from you. Was it a phone call or text? We shouldn't talk. Let's not talk about it anymore.
We're saving this for the second half hour. We will get to this in less than 30 minutes. I promise. But
guys, this is the craziest trade I've made. This might be the most insane trade I've made in my life. And I didn't even understand why I made it on Saturday. I started freaking out. I didn't sleep all weekend.
You called me last night freaking out, like not even realizing how much money you had invested in these things. So you guys in the chat, drop your best guess. Let us know what you think we did, and we will get to that in less than 30 minutes, so stay tuned. But back to today's main topic, the odd trend that we discovered about how people are spending their stimulus money. And these are companies that I don't think I've ever even considered as an investment. We're living in a very different era now. I don't even know where we want to start. I know, Jordan, on Friday, you bought one of these companies.
So I think I bought it on Thursday. You're talking about you're talking about the pharma company? You're talking about
I'm talking PII, Polaris.
Yes. Yeah, I think I bought that on Thursday. Yeah.
This is called Recreational Power Sports. And we have been researching so hard. Listen, this is all we do all day, all night, every day is just try to find new opportunities. And it's been getting harder and harder the past month to find new opportunities. Peloton, huge opportunity, 7-figure trade. Logitech, huge opportunity. But what is left? What's out there that people are not seeing yet? And Camping World doubled over the last couple of weeks. And there's just been this thesis that we've been talking about, right? We've been talking about this thesis of, what are people doing now that 20 million or 30 million kids in America cannot go to sleep, cannot go to camp? Camps are generally closed. That means all that money is coming back into the household. We got a $5,000 check for camp. We had 2 kids who were sending to camp, got $5,000 back, okay?
Wow.
Tons of people are getting all this money back. They can't travel this summer. They can't do anything this summer. I hate saying this because so many people are unemployed, but a lot of other people in this country are cash flush because they got stimulus checks.
There are people who some of the unemployed people are making more money now than they did before, but then we have these stimulus checks. The first one's already been sent out to most people who qualified for it, and they weren't expecting that. They weren't budgeting that for that. They weren't thinking that that was going to be something that was, a part of their summer budget, right? So what are we looking at? What are people doing?
Well, also, I don't think people realize how much money there is that is not being spent. Dave, did you get that email I sent you with a link to a Wikipedia page on discretionary spending? There's a pie chart in there. If you could show it, because I can't show anything on my computer. We're having issues. That pie chart is how America spends its money. And if you look at the pie chart, what you'll realize is a lot of the money that we spend, you might need to make it a little smaller. So can you see full screen? Can you actually see all the cutouts of it?
Are we seeing? Yeah, there's apparel at one. Your screen may be too small that you're looking at.
Oh, that's right. That's why I don't see.
I can see everything. You can zoom in on the window that you're wanting to look at.
Okay, so
make that your main window.
Here's the thing, like a lot of these spending categories are spending categories that you can't do anything about, meaning you have to spend that money no matter what. There actually aren't that many things that you can control, right? Well, we call that discretionary spending. And it's usually going out to restaurants, going out to entertainment and concerts, traveling, sending your kids to private lessons and sports, and all that stuff. Well, almost everything that you could put in the discretionary spending bucket is now frozen, meaning you almost physically can't spend discretionary money on all the normal things, travel, hotels, private lessons for my kids to do this and that, and summer camp and clothing, right? No one's buying clothing for the most part because you're not going to any events. You're not doing weddings. You're not doing any of this stuff. So, guys, people still need to spend. You know this. Americans like to spend their money almost as much as Americans cruisers that are going to cruise, right? Well, we say that all the time. But
Americans need to spend money because otherwise the economy comes to a screeching halt, and that's kind of what we've run into.
No, this is one of the big concerns. Like everybody's been talking about the savings rate going up, which is bad for the velocity of money and getting businesses going again.
But that's a long-term theoretical thing. I mean, just think more base, Jordan. Think more base. Americans love spending. They love buying things. Buying things excites them. They love the concept of being a consumer. And basically, you haven't been able to be a consumer for the most part. And then the government's sending you money. So imagine the government spending you money. 20 or 30% of the people desperately need that money just to pay their rent and to buy food. But the other 70% still have their jobs, okay? And they still have the same money they had before, but now they have all this extra money that the government's sending them. Maybe someone else in their family is getting an unemployment check, even though they weren't planning on even being employed because they maybe were in between jobs or something. They're getting $1,000 a week, or maybe you're a waiter that used to make $300-400 a week. Now you're making $1,000 a week with government money. I have 70 of those people at my restaurant, so I know this firsthand. Now, what are you going to buy? Because you can't do most of the things, but there are some things you still can buy. So you have summer coming up. This is like perfectly timed with summer, right? So how are you going to spend your summer? How are you going to spend your summer with your family, with your kids? What are you going to actually do and spend money on? Well,
you have to find some way to, spend your money and spend your time because people have way too much of both of those things right now.
And you want safety, right? You want to spend it on something that could be safe for you and your family. So what is the absolute safest thing that you could do with your family this summer now that you have this cash you're not spending on summer camp and all that other stuff and vacation and traveling? How about patio furniture? How about a new all-terrain vehicle if you live in rural America or if you have a lake house or whatever? How about a new fishing boat? How about a new sport boat for the lake? You can do that stuff now. They're opening up lakes. They're opening up all this stuff. You can go on an ATV. You're still social distancing. You can go out and have fun with your family. And those toys that were totally irresponsible in the past to buy, you're not going to finance a $7,000 ATV, right? Who would do that? But now, like, we got all this money and we can't travel. We got the money from summer camp and the vacation that we had to cancel. Dude, what are we going to spend our money on? Let's get that ATV. Let's get that fishing boat. I want to fish with my kids. Right?
How much are ATVs? You can finance out for like 7 years or something like that. I mean, you can finance these things forever, right? And so the payments end up being pretty low on this stuff.
And Jordan, the average stimulus check, which is $2,200, do you not think that's enough for a down deposit on pretty much any little lake boat that you want, or any ATV or Sea-Doo or jet ski, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, right? And I've actually talked to boat shops, and they are insane right now. I mean, you can't get an appointment to get your, boat worked on or summarized or,
So
getting ready. I mean, it is on right now.
That's what I'm going to read you guys. I'm going to read to you guys my buddy Eric. And if you guys don't know us, we live in Dallas, Texas. We have friends across the South, friends from Oklahoma to Arkansas to Alabama. And my buddy Eric sent me a text last week. And here's what it said. I'm not going to disclose the name of the dealership, okay? Because I think, it could be proprietary. Hey, man. And this guy lives in like Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? Hey, man, I got a buddy who owns 5 boat dealerships across Oklahoma and Texas. Blank, blank. That's the name of the dealership. He says sales of sport boats have been higher than he's seen it in years. I think it's the people that aren't going on vacation, kids aren't going to summer camps that are buying boats. I'm checking on personal watercraft and similar toys like Polaris. He's also good buddies with a few different owners of motorcycle and basically ATV shops. And he said that his sales are up big as well. And then ready this. I'm doing my Twitter research this week, right? I'm reading tons of comments like this. Keep those stimulus checks coming, and the ATVs, jet skis, and hot tubs will be flying off the shelves. Never doubt the will of the American consumer to spend beyond their means. Plenty of people making more money on unemployment than they were with a job. Eventually, it all blows up. But for now, people have cash in their pockets and time to spend on all sorts of crap they don't need. And then another person says, yep, if we give everyone enough in debt finance stimulus checks to buy an ATV, all the structural issues will be fixed. Productivity is bullshit. Well, forget about the big macroeconomic stuff that we can debate for the next month, okay? Let's just think simple. They're going to sell a crap load of like Sea-Doos and ATVs and four-wheelers and side-by-sides. You know these side-by-sides, these things that like Lynn has 2 of them in his lake house? Yeah. Like they're like like a mini car with like they can go off-road that you can put like 6 people in. They used to be used
I've seen those driving around the
farming.
neighborhood. Have you noticed that like
one
of the restaurant groups downtown that had those to shuttle people between their places, they have they live in the neighborhood and they're now driving those on the street. I kind of want one.
It's like an off-road golf cart, dude. And they're so fun. And I'm telling you, dude, like this is what people are spending their money on. And to prove it to you, well, I can read you text after text. I was getting texts from other guys I know in the South. And by the way, our buddy Drew, thank you so much, Drew. You helped us with our due diligence. Drew texted me on Friday or Saturday, and I'll read you his text here. Drew's a big boater. He's got a lake boat, and he knows a bunch of boat dealers. And let's see what Drew. Oh, where is he here? Let's see what Drew said. He says one of his big boat dealers says we are where we were last year at the end of July. What he's saying is, he's already done as many sales by mid-May than he did last year at the end of July. And what he said, then he goes on to say, from what I can tell, all recreation is through the roof. Dude, this is everything awesome. I've been on Twitter for probably 5 days doing nothing but researching ATVs and jet skis and boats. And like, it's insane, guys, how many people have an interest here. And it's all popped in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So even though some of these companies came out with earnings, like I think Mastercraft came out with earnings a week and a half ago, a lot of this stuff isn't fully baked in to what they've been telling the investing public yet, because it's pretty recent. Just the last few weeks is when it really started to pop, okay?
Which company is Mastercraft?
They're their own company. They're publicly traded. So guys, I know virtually nothing about this space. I have you know how intimidating it is.
I just want you to look at this chart, though. This is what has happened to Mastercraft,
and it's up big again today. Yeah. But so I'm like, who the hell makes these things? Who makes ATVs and jet skis? And are these companies public and side by sides? Well, and by the way, there's more than this. We're going to get to more than this, but the companies we researched and were able to identify There's all kinds. There's Yamaha, there's Kawasaki, and these guys do technically have ADRs in the U.S., but they trade so thinly that I'm afraid to buy it. I'm afraid to buy that stock because I can't really buy any volume. The ones that I found that I was able to buy reasonable volume in was Polaris, okay, PII. Polaris is the company that owns Sea-Doo, which are the jet skis, the wave runners. Polaris also owns Can-Am, and Can-Am is actually one of the best-selling like 4x4 like ATV brands out there. It's like the high-end ATV brand. And Polaris also owns a bunch of boat brands as well. They also own what do you call them? Ski jet skis. What do you call them?
They're jet skis, right?
Jet skis.
Like Sea-Doo.
No, for skiing, dude.
For ski, I don't know what you're talking about.
On snow, Dave.
Like
snow.
actual skis?
No. I'm losing my mind. This is what happens when you don't sleep, dude. I'm losing my mind. No. Ski-Doos, like.
Ski-Doos?
Dude, are you kidding me, Jordan? What are they called?
You're talking about snowmobiles?
Snowmobile, dude.
Snowmobiles.
They make snowmobile. Anyway, Polaris is through the roof. So I think something cool here, Dave. Can we pull up a Google Trends in the United States for 5 years?
Yeah.
And actually pull up ATV, just the word ATV. It's going to blow your mind. Okay, just the word ATV for 5 years in the United States, and then we could also pull Sea-Doo if you want. But this ATV chart alone is going to blow your mind.
Hang on, let me figure out what we have going on here. I have way too many things that have changed somehow over the weekend in my settings, so now I've got this ATV. For some reason, Jordan's the only one on the screen. We can still hear you, Chris, I think.
It's right. I look.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, sorry. I'm actually pulling up here. I can't barely
here's
see
5
your
years.
screen.
This is 5 years of ATV, and look at that pop at the end.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see if I can make that bigger here for me. I don't know.
You should be able to look at the source feed, the actual program feed.
Oh, yeah,
You just took a snapshot.
Kinda, not really. Okay. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing here, guys. But anyway, ATV. So who else makes ATVs? The other company that I found that I got really excited about, I bought a considerable amount. Sorry, guys, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up for you right now. What's the other company? It's called BRG or something like that. It's the one that actually owns. Polaris owns Sea-Doo. So hold on. No, Solaris does not own Sea-Doo. Polaris does not own Sea-Doo, but this other company is. Sorry, let me get this other one, guys. Where is it?
Maybe.
I texted you all this morning with the. Okay, here it is.
Was this something you sent us this morning?
Yeah, no, BRP, and the stock symbol is DOOO, do. They own Sea-Doo and Can-Am. I'm sorry. Polaris has their own ATVs, so I'm getting mixed up. And guys, I apologize if I'm talking backwards. Understand something? I'm up till 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, you
every
actually
day doing this research.
You called me late last night, and you had not slept in I can't tell you how long. And you were. No. I'm pretty sure didn't sleep last night because you were worried about how the market was going to open, and we are going to be talking about that in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. So Polaris is PII. They have their own ATV lines, obviously. BRP owns Sea-Doo and Can-Am. And then I also invested in Mastercraft, MCFT. I also invested a tiny bit in Kawasaki, but it doesn't trade very much. It's KYHIY. Hey, and then I also put a small investment in Marine Products. MPX is Marine Products.
I've got one more for you. There's Brunswick Corporation, and they do the Mercury engines, which go in a ton of different boats. And they make like Boston Whaler, and they've got their own boat brands. Plus, they do engines, which then benefits any boat sale.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty liquid too.
I've just thrown as many of those tickers onto the display as I can, and you can kind of see they're all trading in the same range there. Down. This is a 6-month chart, I believe, but if you look at what has been going on, the pop that happened this morning in Mastercraft, what is going on there?
That's insane.
I got it, baby. Mastercraft, Kawasaki, Sea-Doo, I'm telling you, I wish we could have aired this episode last week on Friday because I was buying them on Friday, and I was like, God, they were already starting to pop. And I feel like there are a lot of people are seeing this at the same time. Yeah. And to some extent, a lot of this is due to Camping World. Camping World stock doubled, guys, over the last few weeks. It doubled, okay? I actually don't see a lot of increased interest in RVs, and I've spoken to a couple RV dealers. And I'm not quite seeing as big of a pop there yet.
Yeah, even though we did get a really big pop on Thor, I think Thor Industries. Yeah, and they today from $72 up to $78. So they had, a 9% run, and they're mostly RV.
Mostly RV, interesting. Yeah. So I think, listen, a lot of people are understanding this outdoor trade. It's like the power sports outdoor trade. It's a summer trade of what people are spending their stimulus checks on. I've been personally calling RV dealers. I've been calling them for the past 4 or 5 days. Not RV, sorry. ATV dealers, right? And these ATV dealers are weird birds, man. I'll tell you, they are not. They are just. They're all out in super rural areas, and they're hard to get information from. But for the most part, they're like, yeah, sales are up. It's crazy, man. Like we can barely keep stuff in stock. So I'm in, man. I got a pretty sizable position in a combination of these companies, but not crazy sizable because they're not super liquid, which makes me not super comfortable. Yeah. I think that BRG, they're a Canadian company, so it's like a lot of these are ADRs. They're not even the real core stock. But that's one of our primary stimulus trades that, quite honestly, we weren't thinking about heavily until very recently. And I think there's still some room to move. And by the way, guys, this is a good time to say we're not financial advisors. Do not trade on our ideas. This is just to get your brains working, to let you understand how we think, how we strategize, so you could understand the process we go through. Your risk tolerance is different from our risk tolerance, and we don't want you trading on our trade. So get your own advice, do your own work. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Okay, guys, just understand that. Anything else in the power sports? Oh, there's one other big one that I invested in, and it's a little bit higher speculation, but they have earnings this week. So John Deere. Okay, and Dave, would you mind, Dave, pulling up a Google Trends chart on the word for the United? I think it's for the United States. It might be for global. A global chart for 5 years. 3 tags. Tractor is the first tag. Lawnmower is the second tag, and John Deere, just the word John/Deere, is the third tag. If you could pull this for a 5-year chart on worldwide. And just all the search terms, right?
Yep.
Mind-blowing. I mean, look at the word tractor. Is that insane or what? And I've just been trying to make sense of this. Like, are all of these, small farmers and people even without farmers that just do lots of stuff, right, that use John Deere equipment, are they getting their stimulus checks and they're like, hey, $2,000, $3,000, I can get financed on a new piece of equipment, right? Like, is that how they're thinking? Is that the mental process here?
Well, and plus, think about, we still eat, right? And so all these farmers are still doing all the normal work that they'd be doing. And so, yeah, if you get a little extra break to finance that piece of equipment, why not take it?
Yeah, if you're a farmer, it's probably the margins are low, and this is a time when you can actually spend a little bit more to invest in your business.
And I don't think people really appreciate something. Let's talk about the fact that every single person in the country, for the most part, call it 70, 80, 90%, are at home for the indefinite future. I mean, they're not going to work. They're working from home. Do you know what that means? They have time. In fact, they have so much time, they're looking for stuff to do. And a lot of these people are like, I can mow my own lawn and save, what, 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks a week, depending on how big your lawn is? So don't you think a lot of people might be thinking, gosh, I'm going to go out and buy a lawnmower or a big rideable mower if you have a huge amount of, acreage or whatever. And I'm going to have fun with this over the next year because I'm stuck in my house. I want to mow my own lawn. And you'd cancel your gardening service, right? I think John Deere is going to sell a huge number of these riding lawnmowers that they sell, tractors. I just think, look at those charts, guys. It's insane. And by the way, John Deere also has a division called Gator, and they make basically ATVs as well. Now they're more tuned for not just farmers or people that have acreage to kind of get around their land and stuff. They don't, they're not like recreational so much. They do have some recreational trucks, but for the most part, they're like these little work trucks. And don't you think that's a cool thing to spend your stimulus money on if you're out and you have land and stuff like that? So honestly, I think John Deere this week might surprise to the upside. I don't know. I bought a position in John Deere. I bought a position in all those power sport companies. And there's a couple other things that are popping in my head here. One, this is the chart for John Deere, by the way. And you're doing pretty well this morning. That's John Deere. Killing it this morning. So you asked me when you asked me hey, what did you do this weekend? You know what I did all day yesterday? I spent the entire day freaking out trying to buy patio furniture. Okay, reasonably priced patio furniture, like sun loungers and umbrellas, with the weights at the bottom and stuff. It seems like such a simple thing to do.
And this is this is the other trend. And I was telling you that as soon as you said you were freaking out trying to buy and find patio furniture because it was so hard to find, this is my inbox. I had messages just in my updates folder on Google for outdoor furniture from pretty much everyone that could possibly sell outdoor furniture. Their clearance sales, they're all sorts of things.
Dude, I could not find so my wife sent me a bunch of lounge chairs from Wayfair and Amazon and Target, reasonably priced chairs. And I was like, okay, I'll figure it out. And then I read an article Sunday morning, it was on CNBC, that said that patio furniture sales are going crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I better get on this. I got on it. They were almost all sold out. And so then I start Googling and looking for other ones, and all the ones I wanted were sold out. I finally found a couple. Then I was like, okay, we need to get patio umbrellas. I start looking for patio umbrellas. I go to Sam's Club because they have these awesome 10-foot Sombrella umbrellas that are quality material, quality tilt, all this stuff, and they're $90-something each, which is insane for a 10-foot umbrella, with a weighted stand on the bottom of it, and completely sold out in 12 of the 13 colors it comes in, right? And I'm spending 2 hours trying to find umbrellas, and then I'm trying to find weights for the umbrellas. Dude, this isn't. Everybody is looking what are you going to do all summer? You're either staying in your backyard,
hang out in your backyard. Now, aren't you trying to install an above ground pool because you never got around to putting the pool in your backyard? Is that
we'll
something?
Talk about that in another episode, maybe.
No, I need to hear more about this.
Well, yes, maybe we'll see. But everyone's hanging out at their house, or they're hanging out at the lake house, or they're gonna. If they have property, they're going to buy in toys and they're going out on ATVs. Or if you don't have toys, you just want to lay out on some nice furniture outside. You remember how big Wayfair did when people were replacing their desk at the beginning of the quarantine?
Yeah.
Well, now that we're midway through to the end of the, midway through the quarantine, let's say, now you have the summer in front of you. You're tired of being inside working every day. Well, you're buying bicycles, right? You're buying all this stuff for outdoors. And patio furniture is huge. So, there might be a play there. Maybe Wayfair will continue to benefit. Maybe even Restoration Hardware, Amazon for sure. So, and by the way, these
and
are
Target.
Probably Target for sure. It's all right. Oh, by the way, Home Depot and Lowe's, they both have earnings this week. That's a big position for me. Home Depot. We've been talking about this for weeks since one of our own viewers tipped us off to it. Gosh, I drove by Home Depot. They got a line out the door. The parking lot is packed, and now you can't buy patio furniture anywhere, and they sell a ton of that stuff.
Yeah.
So they also sell a lot of John Deere, and they sell a lot of lawnmowers, right? Home Depot and Lowe's are going to. But Dave, by the way, can you pull a Google Trends 5-year for Home Depot and Lowe's side by side? It's astonishing. astonishing. It really is. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, Jordan, you were at Home Depot too, right? You saw some of this.
Yeah, I was picking up some mulch like early on in this whole thing that I had to do anyways because we had planted some new shrubs, and the guy that I talked to said that they were insane.
One of our viewers last week was kind enough. I think he said he worked at a Home Depot,
yes,
and he said that they were having to clear out additional shelving to make more space for all the e-commerce orders that were coming in for inventory to kind of fulfill all the e-commerce stuff at his Home Depot. I'm telling you, man, this Home Depot, I'm excited about these earnings this week on them and Lowe's.
Yeah, the only downside that I've read about Home Depot is that they're doing fewer pro sales, right? Because I think something like 30 to 40% of their business is like professionals. And that's down apparently.
Of course.
But the consumer is way up. And so from what I've read, Lowe's is like 85 or 90% consumer and only 10% pro. So maybe there's more upside on Lowe's, but I just don't know.
And the interesting thing is that once we get out of this, the pro stuff is like pent up demand because like that will actually like pen up, and then all those projects are going to just flow into Home Depot and Lowe's.
Yeah, the one that I haven't gotten into Lowe's yet, but I'm looking to add to buy some.
How crazy is that chart? And so we have Home Depot earnings this week. I think Lowe's this week. We have John Deere this week. Our other, by the way, dude, can we give Dave some credit on that thumbnail today? Dave, is that who I think it is? Is that the Tiger King?
Yeah, that's Tiger King guy.
Dude, you crushed it with that thumbnail today, Dave. I love it. That just makes me so happy. I don't even know why looking at that thumbnail.
Yeah, that one was a good one. I am kind of proud of that. But I do want to get to the comments. We have a lot of people down there having a discussion about a Dumb Money Discord or a Dumb Money Slack channel or some way to keep this conversation going. I would like to do an informal poll, and if I had a way to drop a poll down to actually get real results, I'm going to see if YouTube has a tool that does that. But basically, I want to know what would be the best way to keep this conversation going. Would you like a Discord? Would you like we have a what is it? A Slack channel or what am I trying to think of? Oh,
subreddit.
A Reddit.
But
would you like a Dumb Money subreddit?
Is, like, all weekend long, I meant to get on our comments because we have a bunch of comments from the last episode.
Yeah.
And I feel so guilty that I haven't gotten into comments even because from this, what people don't realize, the second that we get off this show, I'm essentially going into deep research for the next 3 days, and I don't even come out of my shell until the show starts. So it's like I think we need to find time even just to get to the comments more and continue the conversation there. And I'm sorry, guys. Like I completely missed out on comments the last few days. I'm going to do a better job today, tomorrow, until our next show getting into comments. And we'll at a minimum, we'll make a concerted effort to try to do that.
There's a lot of people saying Discord. I set up a Discord. Discord's not a part of my daily routine. I don't really know.
I don't think I've Discorded yet. I've Slacked before.
So
I've Reddited just a touch.
Discord is kind of the thing that YouTubers are using to keep the conversation going and let all of you viewers, continue conversation amongst yourselves, even if we aren't able to weigh in. I think that's a valuable, part of it. So it's kind of Discord, Slack, or Reddit, and I don't know what the best tool is. Let me see if I'm going to try to find the polling tool. Someone said they have one in YouTube.
All right, so while you're looking for that, I'm going to talk about one more stimulus trade here. Obviously we had a lot of luck on our Logitech trade. That was an awesome trade. I still have some Logitech stock. I sold half my stock. I sold all my options, obviously, because they expired the week of earnings. But I think one of the beneficiaries, and by the way, they're up so much today. Like I wish we could have had the show on Friday. But Best Buy has earnings this week, right? So if you think about all the areas that Best Buy caters to, obviously gaming, obviously, all the webcams and laptops and all the iPads and all the stay-at-home stuff that you need in terms of electronics that stay at home as well. And then Best Buy just hit a lot of areas when it comes to stimulus checks and going out and buying cool stuff, cool electronic stuff, whether it's gaming, a new TV, like I said, just something for your home office, a laptop. They hit a lot of those areas. And, Best Buy, I have a Google Trends sitting in front of me right now for Best Buy. I mean, other than the holiday season, it never trades up. And man, it hit up in March and it's like up and right. And it's just a really strong search traffic for bestbuy.com. So we know bestbuy.com is going to kill it. But what I think Best Buy has done an interesting job of is they've been reopening stores. I don't know if they've been open the whole time or reopened recently. And they do this pickup service. I think a lot of people like that same day gratification of being able to order something, go to Best Buy, and just have it, basically brought out to you right there. I wouldn't be surprised if Best Buy came out and really killed it with earnings this week as well. So I think it's an interesting trade. A lot of these trades are getting kind of crowded now going into earnings, unfortunately. Yeah. And that's why we spend so much time trying to find an area that wasn't super crowded yet, which was recreational power sports. And even that's starting to get crowded, quite honestly, in the last couple of days, which is insane. And there's just not much left here. But and by the way, I gave in. I got some Constellation Brands, Jordan. I'm like, dude, they're going to do fine. I think they're going to do fine for the remainder of quarantine or stay at home. And then they're going to come out of this whenever they come out of this and just kill it when we're finally out of this, right? And by the way, our next episode, we were supposed to talk about this on today's episode, but we switched it because of this power sports trade. But we were supposed to talk about vaccine trades. That was supposed to be today's episode.
Yeah. We keep pushing that one back.
It's pushed to Thursday. We will have that episode on Thursday, and it is going to be a killer episode. I've been talking about this episode for a week and a half now. I'm ready to have that episode like right this second, but we're going to hold off till Thursday. And it's going to be one of the best episodes we've ever done because I still think that is some of it's like your last chance at these. I call them Kong Donger trades.
I knew that should be the title of the video.
But no one understands.
Nobody gets it. Yeah.
So to Kong Dong somebody. This goes back to when I was 13.
Yeah.
And Jordan, well, I mean. We had this. We used to sell cars, right? And I used to detail cars, right? And my buddy used to sell cars, and I was just a guy. I would wax cars in the car dealership, and it was like an 850 BMW back in the late 80s, early 90s, like 1990, something like that. And Mr. Kong came in, and he paid full cash, full asking price for this 850. It was, I think, my buddy made It was like a $13,000 or $14,000 profit on the car, which was insane back then for a little used car dealership. And
I hope he's not watching right now.
No, his commission was like $3,800, which to us, we were like we're teenagers working at the car dealership. He was 16 and somehow was selling cars during the summertime. And it was the most money he's ever made. I've never seen anyone make in a transaction. And from that moment on, like Mr. Kong's sale, he Konged up. Whenever you would really make a ton of commission off someone, selling them a car at full profit, at full retail, you were Kong-donging them. Right? That's how it started, right? But there's very few opportunities, I think, in this market, with it getting as inflated as it is, to find areas where you can really generate a huge trade right out of it. And I think the last opportunity are these vaccine trades. The fact that we're going to have a vaccine come out with really positive news. Obviously, it already kind of happened this morning. But that is what's going to propel a lot of these stocks that just have been lagging the market, right? We're going to talk about that on Thursday. We're going to talk about how we view the risk, how we view the timing, because a lot of it's about timing. And there's a couple really big vaccine announcements that are going to be coming out soon. And we're going to dig into those vaccine announcements so you understand how the vaccine trials are going and how that information is going to get disseminated to the investing public and how we're trading that event. And we're actually already started to trade that event, but we're going to go dive in deep to the last big, call it pandemic trade, which I think is the vaccine trade. And it's not trading the vaccine companies, it's trading the market and companies that will benefit from that vaccine news if and when it gets released, which I think is going to be very soon. Sooner than I realized this morning is already the first bit of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Dave, what do you think? Are you pulling up a polling tool or something there?
I'm about to have a polling tool ready to go that will be able to tabulate votes through the chat. So
okay.
you keep talking. I'll just talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. So, Jordan,
you can jump in too.
You're in on some of these. I mean, you're in on some of these stimulus check trades, right? I mean, you're in on some of the motorsports. Which ones you get in on?
Yeah, so I got in. The only one that I pulled the trigger on was Polaris, and I'm up pretty well. I mean, it's doing well. I think I bought it at like $70, and what's it at right now? Like 77 or something like that. And then I'm staring at this Brunswick Corporation. I might pull the trigger on that one if we can get a little drop in the price. Maybe tomorrow we have a red day.
How about, I'm shocked that you didn't get in on BRP, which is symbol DOOO. That's like my favorite. They're up 9.8.
The only reason I didn't pull the trigger on that one is because it didn't seem very liquid, and that always freaks me out. Just because when somebody tries to get out of one of those things, and it gets ugly.
Here's the thing: like the ADR isn't super liquid, but the primary company, I think it's Canadian, right, is relatively public. It's relatively liquid in Canada. It's a reasonably big sized company. Now you know what else they make? They make Indian. Polaris makes Indian motorcycles as well. But BRP, DOOO, dude, they're like, if you do a Google Trends chart for Can-Am, through the roof. And then also their Sea-Doos, man. Sea-Doos are on fire right now, it looks like.
Sea-Doo is pretty much, it's the Kleenex of those personal watercraft, right?
Right. So like, I know what you're saying, but I don't know. It's one of my favorite trades there.
Yeah, maybe I'll look to get into that one before do you know when their earnings is?
Yeah, their earnings I think is in June. I think I've been looking at so many of these. I'm confused. I think I should keep it.
It's so hard to keep all these straight.
Yeah, I think it's coming up in June. Yeah. And how about John Deere? Would you consider John Deere?
Yeah, I'm considering. You know what I might do with John Deere is just do like an options trade on John Deere.
I feel like John Deere is almost like it's like such a good company. So I was researching Deere for this trade, right? Yeah. And I ended up learning way more about John Deere than things that would come in handy for this particular trade. Like, it's fascinating because into their core business of what John Deere is doing. So obviously they own like half the market, or even more than half, like 2/3 of the market for farming equipment, right? And all that stuff. But they're introducing technology. So they have tons of engineers and software developers, and all this equipment is going high tech. And
you realize, but what you haven't read about that is that there's a lot of pushback from farmers, right? Because what they're doing is they're trying to lock in these farmers to have to use these John Deere dealerships to do any service on their equipment, when some of the farmers are pretty mechanically inclined. They're used to being able to work on their own equipment, and they hate being beholden to John Deere. And so I'm worried about that.
Okay, so Jordan, I think you're right to be worried, but farmers, I mean, dude, were car dealers not pushing back against our software when you built it, right? I mean, remember back then, like,
but that's always going to be. Right? I mean, they're not locked into this. I mean, that was an opportunity for them to market. For farmers, this is locking them in and having to do service contracts with their own equipment, and they're voiding warranties and all this stuff if you do work on your own equipment, and if you have a lease. I think there's some gray waters there too.
But don't you think, I agree with you, that's an issue, but don't you think in the grand scheme of things that they have this kind of pseudo monopoly on the market? And I've read, Jordan, that farmers that are using some of this new equipment with the digital aspects and how precise they are, that their farming land is now so productive that they're actually getting audited. They're getting audited, by the government for being because they can't believe that their productivity has actually gone up as much as it's gone up. I don't know how that works with why the government would be auditing farmers for that. but I've actually read they're getting audited because that's how precise this new equipment is with the software and the digital specs. So don't you think at some point the next generation, you might hate John Deere for forcing that on you, but don't you think that the farming world, people talk, right? And if so-and-so is getting 30-40% more productivity than you, you're like, screw it, I like working on my own equipment, but you know what, that's insane. I got to upgrade my equipment to this new high-tech stuff, or the son, the younger person in the family, right? Or either that, or farm's going to get taken over by more corporates that can appreciate that stuff, right? Like
yeah. They're gonna, they just
I just think it's fascinating because there's not like other equipment companies. They're not doing that. Like John Deere is making massive investments in that world, and I think it's fascinating as a longer term play. And I might actually keep some John Deere after this trade is over with.
Some of the comments coming through about the farmers getting Kong-donged on their tractors.
They are.
So we've started a poll. For the next 10 minutes, we're going to take your votes on which platform you think we should use to continue our conversation. This is the way to access it. You through the chat, do the exclamation point vote, and then what you want: Reddit, Slack, Discord, or Facebook. So exclamation vote, Reddit, Slack, Discord, or Facebook. So hopefully this works. I've never used one of these before, but we'll see. And we can keep an eye on the results as they happen right here.
Dave, I think we made everybody wait long enough. We've teased them. Could we talk about the trade? Can we talk about this now?
Yes, let's talk about the trade. This is something that we did kind of haphazardly on Friday. You and I were talking on the phone, and we saw this.
It was Jordan's deal.
Well,
Jordan's
okay,
deal.
you called me after Jordan texted you.
So it's a viewer. So here's what happened.
It's a viewer. That came from Dumb Money?
Yeah, I was out for a bike ride, and I got a text, and the text was from my Uncle Mike, who's a viewer. And he found out about this company. Was it Sorrento Therapeutics? I have no idea how he found out about it. He was just letting me know that he had bought in, and that so far it had doubled or maybe more than doubled, and basically just letting me know. And so I started to look at it, and apparently these guys have some sort of therapy for there's like a protein hanging off of the virus that this thing uses to attach to your cells. This thing's supposed to kind of neutralize that. And they had just come out with a press release saying that it basically cured COVID.
Which was the most insane press release that a biotech has ever put out. They literally came out with a press release saying that they have the cure because they had 1 billion antibodies and they found the antibody to cure COVID.
What they've been doing, I think they just cranked up and they ran through every single antibody that's known to man or something like that. I could be wrong about this, but that's kind of the impression that I got. Maybe computer simulations or something. And they just tried, and they ran across this one. And so they've got what they think is a viable, looks like something viable. Now they use much stronger language than viable.
Well, they said they said cure.
They haven't even done a trial on this yet. And the press release was insane, and Fox News picked up on it, and they broadcasted it, and it hit. It didn't even hit the market. It wasn't on CNBC, but it traded hundreds of millions of shares on Friday. The thing went from 2 to 7, on Friday, from 2 to 7, and here's the deal. It took me 10 minutes to realize that this stock is this thing is nowhere near as close as they were making it out to be.
We were calling it our junky pharma stock all weekend. We're like, how did we buy so much junky pharma? Now,
but let's explain why we bought it. The thesis was that this is such a strong statement that understanding how the media reacts to this thing right now, right? We had a thesis that it happened midday. It happened actually before market on Friday, but it really started to get its legs midday on Friday. And into the close, we didn't feel that it was fully disseminated because it hadn't been on CNBC yet, right? And we were like, hey, we think that this thing is going to have legs. We think maybe even Donald Trump the administration
I was
will
hoping
hype
I was
this thing
hoping
this
for a
weekend.
Trump tweet. Like my
Right?
bet was on a Trump tweet.
That's what we thought. But we also thought, we said, okay, so how are we going to trade this? Let's buy some of this. And I bought way too much of it. Okay, well, let's buy some of this.
You accidentally bought too much. I don't think you really were using your normal common sense to come up with how much you bought.
I just got overexcited. Here's the thing. Remember I told you, like, when you do this well in the market over such a short period of time, you end up doing things that are just insane. It just doesn't make sense. And I went overboard on how much I bought. I bought like $500,000 of this Sorrento, right? A stock.
Did you really? I did not know that. Oh my gosh,
stock that tripled. I bought like Jordan. I bought like 60,000 shares. Okay.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing.
I bought 10,000 shares, and I thought that was crazy.
But that wasn't even the real trade. The real trade was this thing. This biotech could blow up over the week. It could blow up, or it could like just go away over the weekend. So I don't want to put more than that into the biotech. But a trade I like better was if this thing gets legs over the weekend and hits mainstream media, and maybe it's it's all over the news on Sunday night. Maybe the Trump administration talks about it in a press conference Sunday or Monday morning. We thought the same way. Was it Regeneron? No, not Regeneron. It was Remdesivir, the drug Remdesivir.
Yeah, Gilead
pumped the market for 500 points.
Yeah,
we were like, why couldn't this pump the market 500 points going into Monday morning? So like, let's trade the SPY one-day calls, the ones that expire the next day on Monday afternoon. Like literally, you can buy in the SPY, the S&P 500 index ETF. You could actually buy options on Friday that expire on Monday. And so you get a tremendous amount of leverage. So I bought them, but when I started buying them, I was like, you know what? This trade feels pretty safe to me because even if my thesis is wrong, I still have a 50-50 chance of the market opening even, flat, or maybe slightly positive, right, on Monday morning. So why not go in heavier? Because I always say it's like you're gambling in Vegas at the roulette wheel, and you're putting your money on black, knowing that a couple of the red spaces were removed. So you have a slightly higher probability of it landing on black.
That's a good analogy. I like that.
So it's like if I know I have like a 58% chance or 55% chance of making, whatever, of being positive from a trade, I got to take that trade. So I bought 1,000 contracts that were slightly in the money. They were in the money contracts. 1,000 contracts that expired the next day. That was $250,000 of call contracts that expired in less than 24 hours. 24 market hours, right? Or basically end of day on Monday. And so all weekend, I'm like, what did I do? No, Friday after market, I said, this is insane. I did way too much, but I couldn't get out of my calls. So instead I sold 20,000 of those Sorrento shares at basically a little more than I bought them for. It was like $7 or $7.10. I bought them starting in the upper sixes, I think. So I sold it, but then I still had all this Sorrento, and I still had all these calls. So then the weekend's coming, and yesterday I'm like, I called you, Dave, and I was like, what? This is insane. What did I do? And I was just waiting for the futures, the futes, right, to open up. The futes to hopefully rip, and then I'm on like stock twits. Oh, what a night, man! What a night! And this morning I woke up. I set my alarm to go off like at 8:29 our time, which is 1 minute before the market opens. I woke up 10 minutes before that, and my eyes can't see my phone that well when I wake up. Like I can see, all I can see is green or red on the stock on the CNBC.com front page. If it's red, it's down. If it's green, I saw green. I thought 700 or 800. I was like, no way, no. And I knew exactly what that meant. And then I looked, and I just stared at it. And then I looked at Sorrento, and Sorrento was up to almost $10 a share.
It hit $10.
Yeah, and so I sold all of it in the first 5 minutes the market was open.
Did you?
All of it, I cleared $1 million on that trade. Jordan, your text on Friday, do you realize that's like one of the that is maybe I don't even Peloton. I did better than that, I think, but not much better than that. I mean, that's insane. That's insane. And Dave, you did.
So
you were joking. We texted our buddies this morning, and I was like, I just bought my house with this trade.
Yeah.
Thanks to Jordan. And Dave's like, I didn't buy your house with it, but I bought you. Like, I can get your what's that car he has? What's it called?
It's the Range Rover Spectre edition.
No, it's not a Range Rover. It's
Land
a
Rover?
Rover. It's like
Land
an
Rover.
old Land Rover that our buddy spent. It was like a couple $100,000. It's all modified and like made nice, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty sweet.
It's kind of amazing.
But, Dave was like, "Yeah, I can buy that," and Lynn's like, "I'll have it delivered to your house in 15 minutes if you want it." Anyway, that's the story, guys. And all I was thinking is, I can't wait to share this with the Dumb Money, Dumb Money followers, because, dude, this never happens.
So apparently this is what I ended up buying this morning.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool, though?
Are you really buying it from him?
I really want that.
Are you going to buy it from Lynn?
No, I'm not buying that. Are you crazy? I have way better things to do with my $300,000 gain this morning. Now, but did you? So I was only half listening because I totally screwed up the poll and had to redo the poll and get it going again.
The other side of the story, Jordan, you got to tell what happened. So remember, this is Jordan's deal. Came from his uncle, one of our followers. By the way, thank you. So what's his name? I need to thank him personally on the air right now.
This is my Uncle Mike.
Uncle Mike. Thank you so much. I cannot tell. And this is the thing. Like, since we started doing these live episodes, like, how many tips have we gotten from this show? Like, I'm telling you, like, Logitech was 1,000% a bunch of our subscribers pinging me all the time about Logitech. I'm like, fine, I'm going to get more into Logitech and study this thing. Like, we have done so well because we started doing this stupid show a few months ago, this live show a couple days a week.
Oh, absolutely.
And like, so thank you guys. Keep sending us your tips. And when you send us those tips, like, we'll do the work. We'll share our thoughts with you if that helps you. I mean, if that's of value to you, having us kind of vet things and research them and share our thoughts, you send us ideas. We'll do the work and we'll share it back with you. And hey, I mean, everyone makes their own investment decisions, right? Don't listen to us, but thank you so much. Dumb Money followers, thank you. You really made my day. You probably made my year with that trade.
No, that's awesome.
Jordan, what happened to you, though? Because this was your deal. So tell us what happened.
I don't need to talk about it. Yeah. So, I mean,
you have to.
I bought a few shares of Sorrento, and I actually sold them this morning right around $10.
That's good.
Yeah, so that was fine. That was great. And then I meant to do the option play also, but I totally messed up, and I bought the same day expiration instead of the Monday expiration. And so then I sold them, and then for some reason, since this is my options account, I have to keep everything separate. Anyways, so like all the cash was tied up. It didn't let trade with that cash. It showed that it was like available but not available to trade, and so I didn't have any cash to actually do the trade.
I'm going to make you feel better right now, okay? I'm going to make you feel better. I'm not going to say who it is because I want to keep him. I want to be discreet about it. But after the episode's over, I'll tell you who it is with his permission. One of our people on our social network, who I shared the trade with on Friday, did the exact same thing that you did, Jordan, but with a pretty good chunk of money. Okay, he didn't realize he did it until the market closed.
Oh my gosh!
And lost all his money on those call options, and it crushed me. He told me this happened, and it crushed me, because not only did he do what you did and miss out on the opportunity this morning, but he, unlike you, he actually lost all that money. Which this is the nicest guy in the world. I can't believe this happened to him, so it could be so much worse. Is all I'm telling you. Like, thank goodness you realized that when you did. Otherwise, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, so for me, it's not even that big of a deal because this is like, literally, I wasn't going to put as much money down as you did, right? Because I'm not crazy. But this was a very small amount. Like, I could have made, some money, but I wouldn't have made what you made because I'm not that risky.
And that would have been not smart for anybody, including me. So I don't know why I did what I did. It was insane.
It worked out.
After screwing up the poll, this kind of conversation and the way that the information is shared and has helped us, I think, is going to help everyone. And so after polling our audience, all 42 votes were counted because I screwed up the poll and didn't have it running properly at first. But it looks like Discord is by far the chosen platform that people want to be on. So I don't really know how Discord works, but I apparently set up a Discord channel called Dumb Money. So if you guys know how this works, join this Dumb Money Discord channel. I don't know how that works.
You're gonna have to help me get on that thing so I can get on.
Well, yeah, I created an account and created what I think is a thing, but we're gonna need help and probably so we've had some viewers volunteer to be moderators in our live chat, which is fantastic, and we thank you. And I'm actually adding the ones that Twittered me over the weekend, but we'll figure this out. We'll need some help though, because this whole Discord thing is for you guys.
Well, we can go on too, right?
Oh yeah. We'll definitely be on there, and I'm Dave Hansen on there, and you'll create an account hopefully soon. But yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So we'll get on Discord. So that is our wild weekend, guys, of researching recreational power sport stimulus check trades. Right. That's what we've been up to. We're in those trades. We're even in some others like John Deere. We have a lot of earnings coming out this week from John Deere to Best Buy, to Home Depot, and Lowe's. And then what we're focused on the next few days is finalizing research on what I think is the last big opportunity to put highly speculative dollars at work and potentially generate 2, 3, 4, 5x through options trades. That's what we do. If we're right, and if we're wrong, we lose all of our money on vaccine trades. And they're not trading vaccine companies, but trading the dissemination of positive vaccine information to the market and the companies that are likely to benefit. And we got to see a lot of that this morning already. So if you're looking at the stocks that popped this morning on who's the company that came out with their news this morning?
Okay, hang on. With the news this morning? It was the
vaccine company.
Moderna.
Moderna, yeah.
Yes. And
that's why the market went crazy. And I still haven't told my story of what happened to me in that junkie stock. But
what happened to you, Dave? You had an issue this morning too.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. So let me talk about that in 1 second. But the chat's going crazy because I don't know what I'm doing. But I've just created an invite link and I'm sending that through the chat right now. So this is the invite link. If I'm doing this right, let me chat this down here. And so you apparently just go to this link, discord.gg/ADTMN8. And you can see it. It's right there.
Hey, by the way, real quick, Dave, Jared, he asked what that energy company was that my buddy who's in the neighborhood is a big energy guy brought up. We're going to talk about it on another show, but I will tell you what it is if you want to start doing your own research, guys. It's Energy Transfer, ET. I promise we'll discuss that in a future episode. ET is the symbol, Energy Transfer. I don't want to talk more about it now, but that was the stock, and I have a position in it. And we'll talk about. We don't know anything about energy. It's not our area of expertise. But it's something that I was talked into, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And I am in ET. So just so you have that. So Dave, can you tell us what your debacle was, which was not as bad as Jordan's?
It wasn't that bad, and I'm not even sure how bad it is, although it looks like I've lost $24,000 since we've been on the air, because I'm still in this debacle. So, first of all, the name of this company is what? Sorrento?
Sorrento.
Okay, so I thought that this was... Have you heard of Sorrento?
What? Did you buy the wrong stock?
No. I didn't buy the wrong stock, but have you ever heard this jingle? Let me see if I can make this work. Hang. You guys couldn't hear that, but it's this jingle that goes, Sorrento, Sorrento, Sorrento. And when I heard them talking about Sorrento, I thought, oh, it's like a dog collar for fleas or something. And they run the commercial during the only show that I ever watched, the Today Show. And I thought for sure that was the company that somehow this dog collar company came out with a cure for COVID. And I'm like, well, that's an amazing story. I'm going to buy that. No wonder this stock was like trading at zero for the whole lifetime of it. And now it's at $9 a share. So first of all, I jumped in and bought 10,000 shares, and it was just kind of going up and down. By the end of the day, I had lost about $10,000. And I was like, okay, but my big bet was that the president was going to tweet, oh my God, we have a cure for the virus, and it's going to be amazing. And so that's what I thought was happening. And then, lo and behold, there was no news, and the more I looked into it, the more I thought this is a total, fraud company. But they had a very positive press release, and their CEO was on CNBC this morning, so I decided to stay in. I was up maybe $30,000 at that point, so I stayed in, and but I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what I like to do when I'm planning to sell a stock and just sell covered calls on my 10,000 shares. So I was going to sell 100 shares, 100 contracts to represent the 10,000 shares that I owned. So I go into the order, and Chris is on the phone, and we're speakerphone, and there's so much going on, and I'm trying to decide if I'm selling my spot. I was up $300,000 in this one thing, and down or up, or it's hard to tell what I was in this Sorrento. But I basically accidentally bought additional call options instead of selling them short. So I was planning to unwind my stock and get out at
Dave,
a
there's
profit.
Something worse than that. Dave wanted to get the highest premium for the ones that he wanted to sell.
They were trading for almost $5. The spread between the bid and the ask was crazy because I was pretty sure the market maker hadn't even woken up for the day yet. So it was like bidding 80 cents and asking $5. So I'm like, if I can sell these for $5, that's
just try to get a lot of money for the options that you wanted to sell, and instead you paid a lot of money.
Instead, I put a limit order to buy them for up to $5. And so I ended up not spending $5, but the difference between the spread was I basically made the market for it by doing 100 shares of this. And it looks like I paid, what? These are my long calls. I paid, this view never shows me what I needed. It was over $4, under $5. So I bought 100 call options. So now I'm double long. Now I have essentially 20,000 shares of this thing, but I've overpaid for calls. And so I decide, okay, I still want to sell short. But by then, my big buying frenzy had brought the market down for this for these calls. So I couldn't sell the calls that I actually wanted to. The stock had gone from 8 to 9, so I decided to try to sell short the calls at a $9 strike price. And I could only get 5 of the 100 that I had an order placed for to go through. So now, the 5 that I went through, I'm essentially up $800. The long, I still own 100 long calls at the $8 strike price, so I'm down $24,000 there.
Dave.
And in the stock itself, I own it long, but I'm now below my initial buy price, so I've lost $5,000 there.
Why do you still own this stock? This is like, you're not supposed to be in it. This was just for the weekend. It's just for the hype and the pump. Like, this is not a company you want to own. This is like a weird... They're not even going to come out with any more news after this. They're probably going to have a shelf registration.
Well, it's not even that.
Trust me.
Chris, it's the wrong company.
Trust me. I know. No, I bought the right company. I actually bought the right one.
Yeah, he bought the right... No, but what I'm saying is they have
I just thought it was a different company.
So they have to raise money now. So they're going to, any minute, they're going to announce like a shelf offering probably to try to raise money, and the stock's going to get tanked by probably 20, 30, 40. So I'm scared of this stock.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to play in biotechs too long because, like you said, I mean, anything can happen. These things are totally risky.
I mean, don't you think, Dave, the information's been disseminated? They had their moment in the light on CNBC.
Yeah.
Like, that was the peak. That was when I was totally out.
No, I'm only still in this because instead of paying attention to my account right now, I'm talking to you guys on a live show that I had to set up and was frantically trying to get all the cameras running before we went on the air and started a couple of minutes late. But see, this orange line is my purchase price that I bought I bought at the high on Friday. If you can see, you can't see my cursor, but I bought at the all-time high on Friday. But then, boom, I would have made money had I actually done the right thing and sold those covered calls instead of buying more calls in a stock that I was trying to get out of.
By the way, guys, I closed out all my short positions today. So I closed out of my Dave & Buster's short, my Cheesecake short, and even my Ruth Chris short. And I'll explain why on Thursday's episode, because it's related to the vaccine trade, which I think is like, it's imminent. That's an imminent trade that already kind of started this morning, and it's happening right now, actually. I did go ahead and initiate positions in some of my big vaccine trade stocks. I increased my Royal Caribbean. I actually bought some Southwest Airlines today. I increased my Wynn Casinos trade. I bought some Live Nation today. These are some of my vaccine trades that we'll discuss on Thursday. But I've already kind of started the vaccine trade. But Thursday's episode is going to be awesome. So listen, I feel like we need to get off of this so Dave can find a few minutes to sell out of that weird Sorrento.
Hey, this could be kind of cool. Apparently, there's a live video chat going on in our new Dumb Money Live Discord channel that just happened like in the past 20 minutes. So I don't know what I'm doing or how to get onto that, but this could be actually a cool way for us to bring our viewers into our live shows.
That'd be awesome. I want to check that out for sure. And by the way, people are asking about stocks like Plantronics. Yeah, we traded Plantronics. We're out of it. I mean, that's not a trade that I'm in anymore. I'm going to remind our audience what we do here is we essentially initiate trades. It's called social arb trading. We initiate trades on the discovery of meaningful information that we think hasn't been fully disseminated or digested by the market. So this is off-radar information that we think will move the needle for one or more stocks. That's when we initiate our positions. We exit our positions at the moment of what we call information parity. Information parity is when that information has been fully disseminated to the investing public. That's the core strategy. That's what we do. That's what Dumb Money does. That is a strategy that I kind of helped pioneer over the past decade. And that is all that we do, okay, for the most part. So we'll go into this a little bit more on Thursday. I can't wait to talk about the vaccine. But Dave, Jordan, anything else that we missed here on this episode?
No, I think we covered a lot on today's episode, and I am shocked that we already have over 100 people in our Discord. I guess that's good.
The way, yes,
I mean, it literally blew up.
I've seen comments at the core of my eye, Javier. Yes, I doubled down on Disney today as well. Jordan, I told you that this morning. Yep. I doubled down on Disney as part of my vaccine trade. Yes, Dave & Buster's exploded. I am out of Dave & Buster's. It was up a little bit this morning. I don't know if it's gone up more.
It's up 17% right now, I think.
Yeah, I'm out. I mean, I should have. I'm thinking about going long some of these restaurant stocks, considering, and we'll talk about that on Thursday as well. Listen, the vaccine trade is not supposed to happen until after our vaccine episode. I'm gonna listen. Here's the problem. It's okay. It's okay because we benefited from it today. But if not, I would be really upset right now. If we didn't have the big win, I'd be really upset right now. The vaccine trade started before our vaccine episode. So, guys, listen, it's going to be an exciting week. I want to say something very clearly to everyone that's watching about this time that we're in. It started in late February. This type of opportunity to identify dislocation in pricing of equities, because the market is so noisy and investors are so distracted, might not happen again for 10 or 15 years. Okay, so the opportunities that sit in front of us, it could be 10 or 15 years before we see anything like this ever again. Okay, and so that's why, I'm up till 3:30 in the morning every night looking for what's left. What's left that's dislocated, that the market is not seeing clearly. There's always opportunities. There will always be opportunities. We've been doing this for 3 decades, but this is a huge opportunity. I feel like the door is closing now. It's starting to close, the big opportunity. And the vaccine trade, I think, is the last of it. So watch this week. Stay Thursday at 12 Eastern on Thursday, Dave. We'll be back. We'll be talking about all these vaccine trades. I'll get in Discord between now and then and join you guys.
We're going to figure out how Discord works, first of all, and I'm going to be leaning on our audience to help us figure all of that out. And we also need to remind you that we have a podcast. What you're listening to right now will be on a podcast later today. So if you missed any of it, that's an easy way to do it. If you subscribe, you get your name on the screen. That's a new thing. So be sure you subscribe to the channel. And we also have our chat going in real time on the bottom of the screen. So thank you guys for subscribing, for hitting the thumbs up button. We love it. For following us on Twitter, which is something that we know how to work. You can follow us directly. We do have a at Dumb Money TV Twitter handle, but basically what we do there is every time that we're on the air, we're going to tweet out that we're on the air so that you know to find us. So that's if you don't get the subscription notification from your subscribing to our channel, you will get the tweet notification, hopefully. So there's all kinds of ways to keep in touch with us. Yes.
Dave, by the way, guys, give us a thumbs up. We really need it for our YouTube algorithm. This is a brand new channel, and people need to figure out how to discover us. By the way, the reason why we need more subscribers is for collective intelligence. Like Alexandro Victorero just said, I reached out to a friend who owns several motorcycle and ATV dealerships. He's the biggest in Southern California. He says they're swamped, selling hundreds a day. Okay, I don't know if that's true or not, but the collective intelligence that we have, the more people that watch this channel, the bigger we can get this whole sharing of insights. Whether the follower last week that told us about Home Depot that he worked at, this information is so valuable. This whole trade started when a friend of mine texted me about a buddy that owns some boat dealerships, okay, in Oklahoma. Like, that's how we're able to surface information that Wall Street's missing. How many Wall Street guys you think know people in Oklahoma that are texting them about an ATV dealership or a boat dealership? Not many. And I know that because, listen, I know those guys on Wall Street, and I'm sharing some of this stuff with them. The ones that are great, the ones that I really like, right? They just don't get this kind of information because they're living in New York. They're not living in Arkansas or Alabama or Oklahoma or even Texas where we are. So the more we can share, the smarter we'll get. If you have something to bring to the table, share it in the comments on this new Discord deal. Share it there. Don't be tight-lipped with the information you have, because the more you give, the more you'll get. That's what this channel is all about. That's why, we're not out here trying to sell, investment seminars and weird stuff like that.
We have nothing to sell. We make all of our money by doing what we say and just investing our own money. We don't run a fund. We are just three guys who happen to have brokerage accounts, and we like to trade occasionally. Before we go, let's maybe run through some of the comments, because we've had so many good chats, and I did see one earlier. I threw it on the screen a second ago, but do you have thoughts, Chris, on Live Nation versus Eventbrite in the event space, in the live event space post-vaccine? That's something that we will talk about in the vaccine episode, but I think it's timely right now.
So I actually don't know anything about Eventbrite. I haven't researched it, not even 1 second, but I have researched quite a bit on Live Nation. And Live Nation is like the most obvious like recovery trade, because when Live Nation eventually comes back with their concerts next year, you're just going to have more concerts than you've ever seen in your life, and the ticket prices are going to be higher than you've ever seen. Live Nation is going to destroy it, not just with their big venues, but with their little venues as well. So, listen, I love the Live Nation trade. It's one of my favorites, actually, coming as a recovery trade, what I call a vaccine trade, even though it's not a vaccine. I don't know anything about that other company. I'll research them, though.
So they're just another ticketing company. They're more involved in, like, I think all of the events that we have at Capital Factory are done through Eventbrite. So it's a ticketing based platform for people getting together.
I'm sure that would benefit, right? I'm sure it seems like I'm going to add it to my list. And by the way, another comment came in about Yeti.
Live Nation is up big right now today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeti's a good one, guys. Man, I just pulled the Google Trends chart. Wait, let me make sure I'm looking at the right thing here. I'm pulling the Google Trends on Yeti, okay, in the U.S., and it's showing a really nice pop there. Wow, a really nice pop at the end. So Yeti, I'll do Yeti Cooler. I mean, Jordan, right? Like a lot of people they're just, oh man, Yeti cooler. Look at that pop. Well, Dave, look at Yeti and then space cooler, Cooler. That's a really nice pop on search traffic. I might get me some Yeti after this episode is up. I wonder if Yeti stock has kind of come back, or if it's
Yeti's
still...
a brand name for a couple of things, but Yeti cooler is a better here.
Yeah, man.
What about Yeti cup?
So it's recovered 50% of its drop. It looks like its high was up there at 38. It's at 28. Yeah, we'll look into Yeti too as part of this. Yeti's today's episode, actually. It's right. It belongs to today's episode.
Yeah. Do you have thoughts on Home Depot? Employees are getting an unlimited amount of overtime and 20 and 40 extra paid vacation time. Is going to mess up profits.
I'm not. I mean, that could be a negative. It absolutely could be a negative. I don't know. I'm happy to invest in a company that is having to pay unlimited overtime because of demand. Okay, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not ideal, but I'm happy to do it. Right? Like that's a good problem to have. It's really difficult going into a Home Depot or Lowe's earnings this week to try to figure out with confidence exactly how the whole thing is going to play out. There's a lot of risk there because, yeah, their expenses could be going through the roof. But I just feel like I got to buy the companies that are capturing all the business right now, right? Intuitively, Jordan, isn't that something you just got to go with and not worry about overtime expenses during a time like this?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And like I said, I mean, where Home Depot is versus where Lowe's is, I mean, I just don't. I'm not buying more Home Depot. I already own it, but I might buy some more Lowe's right now.
You know what I'm buying right now?
I don't own it right now.
I just bought. Well,
Chris, we also need to know what the energy play from your neighbor is again.
I did it.
Because I'm not in that one.
I said it in the episode earlier. It's ET, energy transfer. ET
That's
is the
right.
symbol, and we're going to talk about that probably maybe next week on an episode next week. We'll talk about that.
Someone says I need to buy a Tesla Model X. Hey, guess what? I can afford to now. I the market bought me a Model X. Ka-ching!
Guess what? I just bought 5,000 shares of.
What did
Yeti.
you just buy? Did you
Yeti,
right now?
Yeah. Why not? Right?
I need someone to run this show for me so that instead of like doing things like pulling up stock charts, I'm actually able to trade some stocks.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Dave. Dude, I'm so sorry. I know I put that on you. I tried today, and I couldn't do it. So here's what's interesting, guys. Peloton is down 8% today. I'm not selling my Peloton. By the way, their weight, I noticed as of yesterday, is up to 7 to 10 weeks now. 7 to 10 weeks. Peloton, they're down 8%. Should I buy more Peloton? I mean, it's like, here's the deal. I know Peloton's going to come down some on the vaccine trade. I'm happy to have my Peloton come down. I don't feel comfortable selling my Peloton here. And yeah, I mean, I might even get a little more, but I'm not selling my Peloton. Let's see.
Hey Pedro, if you are a avid Discord user, I would like to make you an admin. You're one of our bigger supporters. You're always insta chatting us, super chatting us. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you being here. I think every time we're on the air, I see you in the comments. So really appreciate that. And I'll figure out a way to make you an admin. I don't know. Maybe everyone just hijacked my account already. We'll find out.
Anything else in comments that we need to address? I'm trying to scan through them right now. I think we touched.
Sorrento.
Man, I mean, a lot of people are talking about Peloton, man, but let's not. Here's the thing, guys. Peloton to me it's a generational stock. I've talked about this. It's bigger than the pandemic. It's bigger than the stay-at-home trend.
Yeah.
I think this just accelerated their vision is all that it did. I think Peloton sells everything they make between now and the end of the year. I think they're going to announce new products before the end of the year that are going to be game changers for the company. I know it seems like it's high. I'm going to stick with Peloton. I think Peloton is the next has potential. I think it has potential to be the next. I know this sounds insane, like the next Tesla. like the next Lululemon, right? Like it's just, it has a chance to change the way we live and think in a multi-$100 billion global industry, right? And there's a lot of work to be done. I don't know if they'll do it, but there's a chance they might do that. And so it's rare that you get a story like that, like a global growth story that has the branding and has the cult following and has that kind of that social sharing aspect to it, where people are just so energized around something. Remember Apple, right? Like it's one of these brands, and I just feel the risk reward is worth it for me, and I'm going to stick with them.
I just want to confirm, you did close your short on Dave & Buster's?
All of my shorts. I'm not shorting a single stock right now.
Because it did go up today, and unfortunately, why don't you tell me these things in advance? Because I still have Dave & Buster puts that lost another $8,000 of premium today.
Dave, I probably closed it out 15 minutes before we started the episode.
Oh, that's why. While I'm working on putting, I think you might just need to wire transfer me the payment for being such a good showrunner and producer of this thing.
You are. What's more
GR4G,
valuable?
I just want to let you know that the platform that I use for generating these charts, and the only reason I use it is because they let us use our brand color for the line, and I think it looks really pretty on screen, but it's tradingview.com. That's where we get that graph.
Dave, the thing that's more valuable than money is appreciation, and me and Jordan have tremendous appreciation for everything you do for the show. Thank you.
Well, thanks, guys. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Disney, Peloton, a lot of people talking about these.
Listen, it's time for me to be back in full bore in Disney, and I'm in. I doubled my position today, so I'm back. Thank you, Leon, crypto speculator. All right, guys.
That's going to do it for today. We had a great show, I think, and we appreciate all of the likes and the shares and the subs and the tweets, and our new Discord is going to blow up, and you're going to absolutely have a great time following us there, I'm sure, if we ever figure out how to join it ourselves. Subscribe, listen to us on our podcast, all of the things. We are Dumb Money. We will see you guys on Thursday.